This is your daily horoscope for Friday, February 27th, 2026. All times are Pacific Standard Time. The first aspect of the day feels a little fated, and that is because the sun in Pisces forms a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces at 8 degrees. So if you have any planets or placements around 8 degrees of Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, or Pisces, you will feel this the most intensely. Now, this is also going to bring us back to the new moon solar eclipse in Aquarius. Why, you may ask? It's because that day, Venus in Pisces formed a conjunction with the North Node in Pisces. So now we have the sun, the great illuminator, bringing new information our way regarding events and themes that took place that day that felt fated, especially in our relationships, regarding our creativity and our personal values. This might feel like a moment of accomplishment, recognition, or just receiving more important information regarding whatever you were focused on. Now at 8 a.m., we have Mars in Aquarius forming a square with Uranus in Taurus. This is happening at 27 degrees. So if you have any planets or placements around 27 degrees of Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius, you will feel this the most intensely. Mars is a planet of war, anger, motivation, severing, action. Uranus is a planet of instability, sudden events, liberation, breakthroughs, revolution. When Mars and Uranus come together in a hard aspect, this is very volatile energy. People are reactive, yourself included. It's coming through in a fixed sign. So a fight that starts today, a fight could start out of literally nowhere. Maybe the most innocuous comment could blow up into something big. But because this planetary event is taking place in two fixed signs, fights that begin today really can have a lasting impact or impression. And you're going to want to pick your battles wisely. Now, this could also be a collective moment of liberation, pushing back, fighting, rebelling, protesting, protecting, and defending the ideals and essentially liberation and freedom in general. That's what Uranus represents as well. And with Mars forming a harsh aspect, this could be a moment where the people, right? Aquarius is very collective, push back against this fascist regime. Now, that being said, if you are out there, please make sure you are protecting yourself. Don't bring your phone because they can track you. Make sure you are wearing a face covering. Make sure you have water with you if you need to wash out your eyes with tear gas or anything. I've read that putting baby shampoo in water, a little bit of it, and mixing it up really helps with tear gas. Maybe this sounds a little bit dramatic, but I'm a Virgo moon and I like to plan. So if you are going to be out there, if there is something going on, if you do need to protect and defend someone you love and you care about, this is a time to just kind of be prepared and to know that whatever resistance we are putting out collectively and pushing back, the oppressors might meet that resistance with force. This is a really intense aspect. And so just make sure you are moving through the world slowly and taking care of yourself and others, and be as prepared as possible. That's all I'm going to say. Now, personally, when Mars forms a square with Uranus, could this be an unexpected blow up or fight? Totally. But this could also be you taking some sort of stand, taking an action that feels authentic and liberating and freeing. And maybe you shock other people in the process, but maybe you let go of perfectionism or people pleasing in the process too. This could be a moment where you take a risk and it feels freeing and healing as well. This isn't all bad energy. This can definitely look like you making some sort of surprising decision or action that could lead to great results. And they might be unexpected. And remember, if there are protests going on, if you're not able to get out in the streets, there are many roles in the revolution, many ways to show up. And I'm dropping a link to support mutual aid in Minneapolis in the show notes. is just one of many, many ways. Another important reminder, you can make a difference in Sonny Burton's life. Right now, the state of Alabama plans to execute Sonny Burton, who is 75 and who did not actually commit a murder. He was charged for being a part of a crime, but he was not in the building and he did not pull the trigger when Doug Battle was killed. He was actually outside of the building and had nothing to do with the murder, yet he remains on death row, even though the person who actually murdered Doug Battle had his sentence reduced. The state of Alabama plans to suffocate Sonny Burton on March 12th, and we can make a difference by asking Governor Ivey to grant him clemency because he deserves life. And this is an incredibly unjust and racist and oppressive system. And I believe in abolishing the death penalty. It's really that simple. So I'm going to put Governor Ivey's phone number in the show notes. It takes 20 seconds of your life. We can call every single day until March 12th and fill that mailbox. Okay, later on around 10 a.m., the moon in Cancer forms a trine with Venus in Pisces. This is a beautiful moment in the day. It's chef kisses. I mean, we're still going to be feeling the Mars-Uranus square, but this is lovely energy to have in the backdrop of the day. So this brings a sense of gratitude, of creativity. It can help our interpersonal relationships. If you did have to navigate a conflict or a surprising event, this can look like finding support in someone who really sees you and appreciates you and hears you. For some, this can also look like learning lucky news or just making progress in general and feeling a deeper sense of embodiment and grounding in that process. Later on, around 11 a.m., the moon in Cancer will form a trine with Mercury in Pisces. Now, this is going to kick up our Mercury retrograde story because Mercury certainly is retrograde, but this is a gentle connection. So maybe you're revisiting a conversation, or maybe you're bringing up a conversation or an issue that you've ignored in the past. This can also be a moment where you are double checking your appointment times and your meeting times and making sure that nothing has slipped through the cracks. This can also be a time where you hear from someone from your past. Maybe an old friend reaches out on social media, or maybe you run into someone on the street. If you need to work on a writing project or catching up on emails or text messages that have fallen through the cracks, this is also a great time to do so. Now, around 8:30 p.m., the moon in Cancer forms a sextile with Uranus and Taurus, bringing a gentle surprise our way. This could look like a solution to a problem. This could look like an emotional moment that feels healing, or maybe even a divine download or a last-minute invitation that just puts the wind back in your sails, especially if earlier in the day felt a little rough. Now we have another major BFD, big freaking deal, transit taking place today. That is Venus in Pisces forming a conjunction with Mercury retrograde in Pisces. This is taking place at 22 degrees. That is the degree that Mercury went retrograde at. Stationed retrograde at, I should say. So that means that it is bringing up themes and topics from February 25th specifically. Now, Mercury is obviously communication, our relationships, our friendships, and Venus is our planet of relationships and also our personal values and also our finances. In traditional astrology, Mercury also has to do with commerce. So something I love when I see these two planets coming together, I think this is a beautiful time, especially when Mercury is retrograde, to review your finances, how you spend your money, and is that in alignment with your personal values? Are there alternative brands or local companies that you can support that take your money and power essentially away from these giant monopolies and billionaires that are ruining Earth? So this is really a great time to go line by line through your budget, through your checking account and your credit card statements, and make a list of where does your money go every month? And is there some sort of alternative that you can make a switch that's more in alignment with your values? I recently left AT&T. I've been a loyal AT&T member for over 20 years since I had my first Razor flip phone. I was iconic in high school, yes. And yeah, they have contracts with ICE. Disgusting. So I left AT&T, I switched providers, and I lowered my bills in the process. So that's just a little fun fact, an idea, something you could do and try out. Okay, but let's get into what this could mean personally. When Venus, the planet of love, meets with Mercury retrograde, you could hear from past lovers. You could hear from old friends. You could be nostalgic. Maybe you're being sentimental about the past, or you want to reach out to someone, or you're dreaming about an ex or an old friend, or you're just running down memory lane. This could also be a beautiful time to pick up an old hobby that you used to enjoy, or an idea that you half started and maybe you tabled it for whatever reason. I'll give you an example. I started my class, Grimoire. I started developing it in 2022. I did not launch it until 2025. And this was something that I returned to, a creative hobby, an idea, a project that I really believed in, and I knew I would return to it. But it wasn't until these retrograde cycles came back up where I picked it up and I was like, no, I need to pursue this. It's time. So I'm teaching my next iteration of Grimoire, my second cohort of students, starting in late March. We're going to have a spring equinox ritual and get to know each other. And then class begins the following week. It is a 12-week course. It's a 12-week group mentorship where we cover the topics of astrology, spiritual development, psychic development, connecting with your spirit team, tarot, and so much more. So if you are interested, I hope to see you there. But anywho, that's just an example of how you can return to some idea that really excited you at one point in your life. And maybe during the retrograde, it's time to pick it up one more time because you just never know where things are going to go. And if you have been feeling a little bit more nostalgic and sentimental, maybe there is some wisdom or beauty in revisiting the past, something healing or helpful from reflecting on an old relationship pattern or dynamic, especially if you don't hear from someone directly or specifically. If you want to know how this cosmic energy is going to affect your personal zodiac sign or rising sign, you can join me over on Patreon and gain instant access to 7 episodes of your daily horoscope for the week ahead. Thanks so much and see you tomorrow.